Alright, hey, what's up? Welcome to the Sound of Sergey podcast, episode 15. I'm very, very glad to be here recording this podcast. It is my pride and joy. Not really, but I enjoy it a great deal. Right now, I'm currently staring out a window of my office, looking at the beautiful moon and also a red flashing light of a cell phone tower. I'm being a little bit quiet, and that's not because I need to keep quiet because, my family's sleeping, although they are, and it would probably be nice of me to be considerate and quiet down a little, but the reason why I'm being quiet is actually just because I have a very small amount of energy this episode, because I'm not the smartest person in that I think it was like 4 or 5 hours of sleep I got last night, and before that, it was like 6 or 7 at most, and it's like, you're supposed to get 9 or 10, so I didn't get that, because here's what's dumb. The new schedule for school is stupid. It's really dumb. The new schedule for school is, they moved it to, you're supposed to show up at 7:20. It used to be 7:50. They've moved it now to 7:20, which I know it only sounds like 30 minutes earlier, but I was already getting up at like 4:45 anyway. Move that back to 4:15 or 4 o'clock. Listen, 4 a.m. in the morning. That is ridiculous, because this is just me, but I'm probably not an outlier in this, meaning you make students if you make students be at school by 7:20 in the morning, first thing, that is ridiculous. If you signed up for a job and they told you that you have to be there by 7:20 in the morning, you would not take that job. Students don't have a choice. So let's just say this. Let's say it takes the average shower. This is an actual study. The average shower takes 15 minutes. Fair enough. Let's say 15 minutes for a shower. And let's say you're like me. I wake up, immediately take a shower. The second that alarm goes off, I turn the alarm off, and then I go directly into the shower. It's like 5 seconds max between those times. Wake up, get in the shower, 15 minutes. 5 minutes to dry off, get your clothes on. Fair enough. Right there, you just spent 20 minutes getting ready, and that's just for your clothes and taking a shower. Then you have to think about, all right, a lot of these kids are eating breakfast at home, or at least you probably should be, because, let's face it, whether or not you think the school food is good, like it tastes good, culinarily, it is scrumptious. I do not agree with the idea that it is scrumptious, but I think we can all agree that just add water, eggs, and frozen breakfast sausages, and whatever else awful prepackaged 90% preservative foods that they serve at a public school breakfast. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that those are probably not good to be eating one day a year, much less every single day that you go to school. So in an ideal world, obviously this is not true, but obviously in an ideal world, people would be eating or making their own breakfast at home. Let's say you're on the quick side and you make that about 5 to 10 minutes. So right there, you've already got 30 minutes alone for waking up, showering, putting your clothes on, and eating breakfast. Now, you definitely need to do all of those things. That is a necessity. It is very necessary that you take a shower. Please take a shower. If you go to school, please take a shower. I know people who did not take a shower. This is going to be a little side rant. When I was a freshman, he's one of my best friends to this day. Let's call him Jamesoff. 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 I sat next to him in AP Human Geography. He's an awesome guy. He's literally one of my best friends. There's not a single time when I'm like, nah, we shouldn't invite Jameis off to a party, or we shouldn't invite Jameis off to Wingstop or whatever. Every single time I'm like, hey, do you want to invite Jameis off? And we're like, yeah, sure. He's a great guy. I love him to death. He's one of my favorite people of all time. But freshman year, I had AP Human Geography third hour. And from what I understand, he had strength and conditioning the hour before that. And he didn't shower. And oh my Lord. Here's what I would do. I was sitting to the left of Jameis. The teacher, Mr. Brzezinski, he'd set the tables up in pairs. So two desks right next to each other, space, two more desks, space, two more desks. Fair enough. I was on the left desk. He was on the right desk. We were on the front row. And this is what I would have to do. If I wanted to breathe, I would literally have to turn my head to the left and then go, turn my head back to the center, and then hold my breath as long as I could. And then when I had to let go of the breath, I go, and then the next time I had to breathe in, whip my head to the left, turn it back to the center, hold my breath. That's what I'd have to do every time I wanted to breathe. That's how bad he smelled. Thankfully, eventually, he started taking showers because he got enough complaints from people that he was like, all right, listen, I need to start taking showers after strength and conditioning. But the point is, it is a necessity that you shower before you go to school. That is a thing that you need to do. You also need to put clothes on. As much as people talk about, is there sexism in the school dress code? I think there probably is. And I'm someone who thinks, yeah, there's some silly dress code restrictions. I'm someone who's like, yeah, spaghetti straps, like, who cares? I don't care. Like, if you show up dressing like a Prezi, let's not do that. Because, listen, I am a high schooler. And I know that seniors are sometimes 18, but the majority of people in a high school are literally 14 to 16 years old, which is not who you want to have to be in a situation where you see a 14-year-old dressing like a literal stripper. You don't want that. That is a bad thing. So I think there are definitely some lines that can be drawn in the dress code, but also I think there's a point where some of the restrictions they have now, just nationally, what is nationally accepted as the standard dress code for schools, I think it's a little bit silly. But you definitely need to put some level of clothing on before you go to school. That is a necessity. You also need to consume food, or else you will pass away and become a ghost. Now, that's cool, but also stay alive, please, because, that's better than a ghost. So these are all necessities. 30 minutes for showering, clothes, food. 30 minutes for necessities. Now, let's say you also need to put on makeup. I'm someone who I believe I need to put on makeup. I think that is something that I feel personally is necessary for me to do in the morning. I know, 99.999% of guys don't wear makeup. That's fine. Well, also, 99.999% of females do wear makeup. And females are 50-50, so that's literally half of your school populace needs to put on makeup. Me personally, I've got my routine down to about probably 5 minutes. So that is very simple, but some people take more. Let's give them some leeway. Let's say 10 minutes. So right now, we're being liberal. We're considering as many possibilities as we can. Right here, we have 40 minutes of necessities. Now, you also are going to run into a lot of people who do their homework in the morning because, they forget to. People have jobs, that they go to, so they don't have time to do homework, especially if you're going to get 8 hours of sleep like you're supposed to. People are working jobs after school. They don't have time to do that. So they finish up their homework real quick. Let's say that's just 10 minutes. Fair enough. Right there's 50 minutes of necessity that you need to do. Now, it's also necessary. This is one of the biggest parts. You need to get to school. Now, obviously, this is very, very, very different from person to person, because if you live right next to the school, hey, it's like 5 minutes. Fair enough. But my route to school, it's about 25 minutes. So that's a very long time. So right now, for me, it's 50 minutes plus 25 minutes. That's an hour and 15 minutes of time that it takes me from waking up to when I need to be at school. At the very most, you could get away with waking up at 5:30. Now, that is if you do things very, very, very efficiently. But listen, most people are not doing things very, very efficiently because they have to do it every day. That's not reasonable to expect that people are going to be at their tip-top shape, doing things as fast and as practically and as efficiently as they possibly can. That's stupid. So let's just go on there, be nice, add an extra 30 minutes. That means now you have to get up at 5 in the morning to be able to be at school by 7:20. That is ridiculous. That is stupid. That's dumb. Now that I've ranted for what is on the timeline 12 minutes about how unreasonable it is to change the time to 7:20, let me just say this. I understand that I can come across as, sometimes I've been told that I come across as harsh or a little socially inept. Ouch, by the way. This is, because I don't claim to be the best at socializing with people. And here's one of the reasons why I for sure wanted to do in-person schooling. Because it's just easier. I'm sorry. I also enjoy the experience of talking to friends, stuff like that. But also, one of the reasons I knew it was vital to do in-person schooling is because I am a huge person on, listen, you need to effectively communicate with someone. And part of that is talking in person and having a long, in-depth conversation, cover all your bases. And listen, here's what sucks about today. Today, people are communicating nearly, sometimes exclusively via text, exclusively via Twitter, exclusively via FaceTime. Ideally, if you can't be with someone in person, FaceTime is probably ideally the best because you do get body language, you get their facial expressions, tone. That is ideally the best. Phone conversations where it's just audio, that's a step down. Texting, that is clearly the worst. And this is why I get angry at anyone who says the book is always better. And I hear people say the book is always better. By the way, whenever I give them examples of movies that are clearly better than the book, first thing, they don't even know that usually a book exists. For example, the movie Psycho, 1960, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. It is a classic of horror cinema and noir cinema and psychological thriller cinema and just cinema in general. It's one of the most influential movies ever made. If you don't know what Psycho is, it's the movie where the chick is in the shower, the dude opens up the curtain and is going, wee, 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 and he starts stabbing her. One of the most influential movies ever made. A lot of people don't even know that it's based on a book. By the way, I have read the book Psycho. It is fine. It is, you know what it is? It's actually a serial series. You know how back in the day, an author would just write just awful books just to crank books out, just to make it's, you know how R.L. Stein writes a whole bunch of Goosebumps book. There's like 500 Goosebumps books. I mean, they're not related. They're related in that they're under the Goosebumps name, but all the stories are individual, and he cranks them out like literally once a month. That's sort of what Robert Bloch did when he wrote the book Psycho. It was just one of the Goosebumps type of books. It's not a good book. It is a just fine 5 out of 10. The movie, on the other hand, classic of cinema. One of the best movies of all time. So don't sit here and tell me that the book is always better. Anyway, that was a long tangent. What I'm trying to say is, anyone who says the book is always better, or especially anyone who says that books are the highest art form, think about this. Books are literally just texts. Like when you text your friend, that's the same thing as a book. A book is just longer versions of that. It's the same. You know how easy it is to understand someone's tone and meaning and purpose over a text? That's the same with a book. It's just words. That's how ineffective it is. That's why I think movies are probably the superior, because I mean that is literally 100% the spectrum of, gaining information. How can I be any more boring on this podcast right now? But like phone communication, that really has ruined like everything ever. I mean, like, people are talking about there's a rise in autism. And I mean, I can't say I'm necessarily separated from that, world. But the important thing to take away is that, like, that probably is just people are more awkward because they don't know how to socialize. It's like, like there are a lot of people on the autism spectrum, and they're that way because they don't know how to, what's her name? Daryl Hannah? The actress Daryl Hannah, she was in that movie Flippers. Or is that what it's called? Flippers. I don't know. No, Flipper. What? There was a movie where Daryl Hannah is a mermaid. I think it's called Flippers. No, Flipper might be the movie where the chick gets her arm bitten off by a shark. Oh, no, that's, no, actually, the movie where the chick gets her arm bitten off in the ocean and she's a surfer, that's either called Surf's Up. I don't think it's called Surf's Up, but it's either called Surf's Up or Shark Tale. Is it called, it might be called Shark Tale. No. Shark Tale is, no, I'm thinking of Dolphin Tale, where they like give a dolphin a prosthetic tail. Which, by the way, why does that need to be a movie? Because I remember I watched Dolphin Tale with my family, and the premise of the movie Dolphin Tale is, there's a dolphin in like a SeaWorld type place, which, by the way, are literally the worst places. The amount of immoral degradation and unethical treatment of animals, you think it's bad at like zoos. SeaWorld is literally the worst ever. Watch the documentary Blackfish. It's awful. But there's this dolphin at a zoo, and everyone loves the dolphin, but then the dolphin has an injury, and they have to amputate the dolphin's fin. So basically the dolphin can't swim, and then everyone's like, what are they going to do? And then everyone's like, I have a great idea. And the movie plays it up like it's this big triumphant advancement of science. We're going to give him a prosthetic tail. And it's like, why is that amazing? Like, they've given people wooden legs since, like, the pirate times. Blackbeard the pirate had a wooden leg. Like, you see all the movies of pirates back in the 1400s, and they had, wooden legs. They had hooks for hands. Those were prosthetics. They were doing that in, like, the Middle Ages. And why is it so amazing? Because you did it to a dolphin? Come on. Really? You did it to a dolphin, so it's automatically amazing? That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I don't come across as this, but I wouldn't consider myself smart in that I am intelligent. That is not what I would describe myself as. Here's the thing is, I enjoy acting less smart than I am. Like, if I know something, I will pretend that I don't know it. Because my philosophy is, it doesn't look good on you to know things. Like, if I go up, like, if I'm having a conversation with someone, I see this a lot. People will point out a movie. They'll go, "Oh, I love that show." I go, "No, it's a movie." But you never look good when you do something like that. So, for example, if we're talking about movies, if I'm in a conversation about movies, I'll describe the plot of the movie. I know the title of the movie. I know the director. I know a whole bunch of stuff about the movie, but I don't want to look like I know things about it, so I'll just dumb myself down. Like, it's the movie with Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder. The movie where they're in the 1800s and Keanu Reeves is there. And they're like, you talking about this movie? I'm like, yeah, that movie. I know what the movie is. I literally own it on a Blu-ray. And it's like, I know what it is, but you can't look smart. I want to look dumber than I actually am. I don't know if that's a good idea. You tell me. Leave in the comments. Give me feedback. Is that a good thing to do, to act dumber than I actually am? Who knows? Anyway, that's like halfway a Sergey theory right there. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a story. And this is a fresh story. This happened maybe 3 hours ago at most. At most, it was 3 hours ago. Here's what I'm doing. Imagine that you're me. I'm sitting and I'm eating pulled pork that my dad smoked on the grill. I'm eating pulled pork, minding my own business. I think I'm watching Silence of the Lambs or something on Netflix. My friend, let's call my friend Daniel Mountains. I'm laughing because that's probably the worst pseudonym I've ever given someone, because that is half a step away from his actual name. That cannot be more clearly what his name is, if you know who I'm talking about. Let's call him Daniel Mountains. He sends me a text and he's like, "Hey, Sergey." And he then moves over to Instagram and he's like, "Watch this stream." And he sends me the little Instagram thing where it's like, Daniel Mountains has invited you to watch this stream. And I look at it and it's like this weird, I forget what the name is, but it's this weird thing. It doesn't show what's going on, but I click on it and it loads up for a while. And then the first thing I see, like this dude, Daniel, I swear he took me to like a Redroom or something. Because I click on it and it's a split screen. And the first thing I see on the top of the split screen, there's 3 people. One, there's a dude dressed like the Lucky Charms mascot on the cereal box. He's literally dressed like Billy Joel, or what's his name? The Rocket Man guy. He's dressed like that, green from head to toe. This dude looks like the leprechaun from Lucky Charms. To his right, there's a chick in literally nothing but some fake nurse's outfit. She's twerking. It's like, what the heck am I seeing? To her right, there's a chick. You know how, like, women will put on lounge outfits? And if you want to wear lounge outfits, I don't care. That's fine. But then they, like, act like that's an actual outfit. Like, they'll be wearing basically pajamas, like sweatpants and a sweatshirt that's like crusty. There's like Takis stains on it. Like it smells like beer that they drink. It's just the worst. Like you can smell just the awfulness coming off of their clothing. They're all lined up. And on the bottom screen, there's literally like this chick in a thong, and she's twerking. I'm like, what the heck has Daniel sent me to. And I'm like, listen, I swear, I'm about to get put on a watch list for showing this. And the dude who is dressed like the leprechaun from Lucky Charms, he starts smoking a bong and goes, dang, she's thick. And basically starts commenting on how thick the chick on the second split screen is. I'm like, what in heaven's name? What on this green earth am I watching? What did Daniel send me? Is this a honeypot? Are the feds gonna come knocking at my door? This doesn't feel like nothing illegal was going on in the strictest sense of the word, but it felt slimy. I felt like I was doing something that I should not be doing. Then the Lucky Charms dude kicks the thong girl off, then invites another one. And she's also like in a bra and panties. She's like twerking in front of a mirror. And basically, he's commentating like Joe Rogan at a UFC fans, like, dang, look at her butt. I'm like, what is, and he's basically just commenting on the physical attractiveness of these ladies. Like, this is the worst commentary I've ever seen. I don't even know what's going on. The Lucky Charms mascot is smoking a bong. He's got like two chicks twerking. And on a split screen, there's like a girl like shaking her butt. It's like, what? Did I just step into a cult? This is like some deep web stuff going down right here. This is something that you only see on the dark net. Like, you have to have like I feel like I got into this because I accidentally guessed the right passcode. Like in Eyes Wide Shut, he just happened to accidentally guess the right passcode. I don't know what I saw, but it was weird. Listen, I can guarantee you I'm never going on that ever again. But you know what? To my good friend, Daniel Mountains, thank you for sending that, because at the very least, I got like a 6-7 minute story out of it to tell on the podcast. So, Daniel, thank you very, very much. Also, you know what, audience? Thank you so much for tuning into the Sound of Sergey podcast, episode 15. Boy, have you heard it all. I'm sleep deprived. I am going to go to bed and pass out. I don't know what's going to happen. I might wake up and I look and there's literally I look like Santa Claus. I don't know what's going to happen. If you go without sleep for this long and then you go back to sleep, I don't know what's going to happen. I might die. Who knows? I might become a ghost. I don't know. But thank you nonetheless for tuning into the Sound of Sergey. It means so much. I love you guys' feedback. I love when like people come up to me and they like share inside jokes that I tell on the podcast. It's like, you people listen to this stuff? And I'm like, I'm surprised. It means so much to me. I love each and every one of you. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Servanov, SERVANOV_. And at Sergey_speaks. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Servanov, SERVANOV. Every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, you will get a video from me every Friday. Every other week, it will be Sergey Speaks, the funny videos. In the weeks in between that, it will be Snapshot My Photography series that I started up recently. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, and keep tuning into this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Sound of Sergey. I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my deep Russian heart. And I will see you next week.